In the shifting sands of deserts, the past has a peculiar way of surfacing. Civilizations vanish, leaving behind ruins and whispers, while bones, etched with silence and time, outlast even the strongest empires. The image of a horned skeleton resting in the dim light of a cave, surrounded by travelers and camels outside, tells such a story, one that blurs the line between history and myth. Did such a creature once exist, a forgotten beast that roamed these arid lands? Or is it a symbol preserved by those who carved tales into the very fabric of survival? Let us journey deeper into this mystery, weaving archaeology, anthropology, folklore, and imagination into a tapestry that might explain the horned sentinel of the desert cave. 1. The cave as a keeper of time. Deserts are paradoxical places. Though harsh and merciless, they are also preservers. What dies under the open sky often erodes quickly, but within caves, sheltered from wind and sun, relics of the past can endure for millennia. The cave in the image is wide and arch-shaped, its natural curves carved by eons of erosion. It looks outward into an endless golden sea of sand where caravans still tread, much as they have for thousands of years. Caves and desert landscapes were more than shelters. They were sacred. Ancient nomads often considered them dwelling places of spirits, gods, or ancestors. To stumble upon a skeletal figure of such size and strangeness inside such a place could easily be taken as an omen or divine sign. 2. A creature of flesh and blood? Skeptics might first ask, was this ever a real animal? Horned creatures are not uncommon in natural history. From antelope to aurochs, horns have long been weapons of defense and symbols of dominance, but the skeleton in the cave is peculiar. Its horns are long, curved, and menacing, closer to myth than biology. Some scholars of paleontology might suggest it could be a misidentified fossil of an extinct bovid, perhaps something like the giant orcs, which once roamed Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Others might argue it is a composite, a human skeleton mixed with horned skulls by erosion, animal scavenging, or even intentional arrangement. But when viewed symbolically, this skeleton transcends mere biology. It calls to mind ancient myths of satyrs, demons, and horned guardians that populate folklore across continents. 3. The desert, as a stage of myths. For thousands of years, deserts have been seen as testing grounds for humanity. The Hebrew people wandered the Sinai. Bedouins crossed the Arabian sands. Berbers roamed the Sahara. To them, deserts were not empty, but filled with unseen presences. Legends of horned beings appear in many desert cultures. In Mesopotamian art, gods and heroes often wore horned crowns, associating horns with power and divinity. Arabian folklore tells of the shayatin, spirits that lurk in abandoned places, sometimes imagined with horns. North African Berber traditions speak of creatures in caves guarding hidden treasures, often depicted with animalistic features. Thus, the horned skeleton in the cave may not represent a literal creature at all, but the materialization of myth itself, a story left in bone for wanderers to discover. 4. Caravan encounters, the witnesses. The image shows travelers outside, their camels waiting patiently in the desert sun. Their presence matters. Such caravans have always been the lifeblood of desert survival. Traders, pilgrims, and explorers crossed thousands of miles, bringing not only goods but also tales. Imagine their reaction. Entering a cave for shade, perhaps to rest or pray, they stumble upon this horned sentinel. Some may gasp in fear, others whisper in reverence. Perhaps they debate whether to bury it, destroy it, or leave it undisturbed as a guardian of the cave. In oral cultures, such encounters easily become tales told at firesides, passed from one generation to another. Over centuries, the skeleton would not merely be bones in a cave, but the horned guardian of the desert, whose story warns or inspires travelers. 5. Scientific curiosity vs. sacred mystery. In the modern age, we hunger for explanations. Archaeologists might date the bones, study isotopes, and map genetic fragments to understand its species. Anthropologists might analyze its role in shaping tribal lore. Yet one must ask, should everything be explained? For desert dwellers, mystery is part of existence. To touch the skeleton might be to break a covenant with the unseen world. Thus, even if science declares it an extinct animal, its role as a mythic presence remains equally real. 6. Echoes of ancient sacrifice. Another possibility is ritual. In many ancient cultures, animals were sacrificed to gods, their remains preserved in sacred places. Horns, in particular, symbolized fertility, strength, and divine authority. Could this skeleton represent a sacrificial offering, placed in the cave deliberately? In such a scenario, the posture of the bones might not be natural decay, but intentional arrangement. Priests or shamans may have positioned the horned figure to watch over the desert threshold, guarding both the living and the dead. 7. The skeleton. As a symbol of resilience. Beyond myth and ritual, there is another layer of meaning: resilience. Deserts kill without mercy, yet life persists. Camels, nomads, caravans. A horned skeleton in a cave, preserved across centuries, becomes a monument to endurance. It whispers to every passerby, all creatures fall, yet their memory survives in the bones they leave behind. Such imagery resonates universally. Think of Europe's dragons, Asia's Kylin, or Africa's horned spirits. The skeleton does not merely belong to one culture, but to humanity's collective imagination. 8. A living story. As the travelers outside lead their camels into the dunes, the story of the horned skeleton travels with them. It will be retold, perhaps exaggerated. Some will say the skeleton rises at night, others that it curses those who disturb it. Over centuries, the cave itself may become a place of pilgrimage, where seekers come not for trade, but for mystery. Even today, when such an image is shared, it reawakens that ancient impulse, the need to make sense of the strange, to tie together myth and history, and to see in bones not just death, but meaning. Conclusion: the guardian of the sands. The horned skeleton in the desert cave is more than remains. It is a mirror, reflecting science, myth, history, and imagination all at once. To the archaeologist, it might be an extinct oryx. To the nomad, it is a guardian spirit. To the storyteller, it is a wellspring of legend. Perhaps its greatest power lies not in what it was, but in what it continues to be, a spark of wonder. In a world that often seeks certainty, the image of a horned sentinel in the sands reminds us that mystery is eternal. The desert keeps its secrets well. Yet sometimes when the wind shifts and the cave opens its mouth to the sun, those secrets step into our world, bone by bone, horn by horn, asking us not to solve them but to remember. Thank you for watching.